skyrocketed, so a $600 pension 10, 15 years ago won't buy much of anything here today.
And why the millennial generation is starting to give up because they can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually 3.
And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And they ignore him, and 8 more years goes by till Bernie himself finally admits to his sons, hey, I've been running a Ponzi scheme.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1981, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
The Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability.
RTD Live Talk. We're live. Wednesday evening, the 13th day of the month of March. And my name is Mike, the host of RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. And as always, subject of tonight's chat is what's on your mind. Want to find out what's on your mind and what you're thinking out there. So as always, let's check in with the chat. Give it a second before I dive into tonight's primary topic. But yet, want to get your thoughts on the press conference that took place earlier where President Trump decided to basically ground all Boeing 737 MAX 8, 9s and or whatnot. So, and then I've heard a couple of commentators comment on how it's a collide of AI versus manpower, which brought down those prior 2 planes. And so, you know, is artificial intelligence the reason to blame for overriding the pilot's desire to pull up when for some reason they were trying to go down? Don't know. But I'd be curious to find out what you think about it. As always, if we have any new viewers, feel free to let me know where you're watching from in the chat, or more importantly, in a minute, once I open up my little voice line, 313-462-0027, number for you to call to let your voice be heard. And so, as always, let me check in with the chat and see who's joining us. We got Spirit. How you doing? James, Scott, Jera, Anthony, Ty. How's everybody doing this evening? What's happening in your world, man? What's on your mind tonight? What do you guys want to start off with? We got the Trump situation. What else? Whatever else is on your mind, let me know. We can cover it. As always, especially last night, I ended up getting a lot of articles that I didn't get a chance to open up. So tonight, I'm going to try to get to those articles as always. So I'm trying to open up so I can get the voice line open. So as always, talk amongst yourselves real quick while I try to get this stuff open. And then we can go from there. And so I say, let me see, he said, Blunt News said he's a chicken. The world had them grounded. U.S. was last to ground the planes. Blunt News, very true. That is very true. So the question is, why was he the last one and not the first one? Well, obviously, he's not the first one because he doesn't want to hinder Boeing's, the Boeing Corporation in general. Because, I mean, even during the little speech, he mentioned that, you know, Boeing, they're a fine company. They're a great company. And I'm thinking, like, that has nothing to do with the issue at hand. There's been lives lost because of malfunction or whatever it might be on their part. So mentioning that they're a good company and all that stuff like that didn't really help their shares at all, because I saw they still dropped a couple points. I'm not sure what it closed at the end of the day, but definitely this could be a ripple effect that could really hinder that great economic expansion we're supposed to be having right about now. So we'll see. Tony, how you doing? Donald. So who was on these fallen planes? Donald, man, that's another good angle. You know, perhaps were there some elite / political figures or some people that were, I don't want to go too far off the cuff, but say targeted individuals that happened to be on those planes where the artificial intelligence, if that was the case, was the reason behind those planes going down. Don't know. I'm sure the only way we'll ever find that out if somebody that's probably well versed in that information, probably from the alternative media, decides to come out with some information or gets a head up. But other than that, we will not hear it on our primary news sources. So, but definitely a good angle there. I didn't think about that one. Spirit, how you doing, my friend? College scandal. Ty, speak on that for me. What do you mean by college scandal? I'm curious to find out what more in depth. Spirit King says, Mike, Brexit could become the event that triggers the economic monetary collapse. There's even talk that they might need to implement martial law if there's no deal. Ooh, interesting. So, Spirit, that's your neck of the woods. You're over in that region. Feel free to elaborate more, because over here today especially, I didn't see any news in particular about the Brexit situation, even though I know they had some talks or whatnot. And so what's the time frame for that? When are they supposed to have everything ironed out? And if it doesn't happen, then what? Let me know your thoughts some more on that. I'm curious to find out. That's one thing we don't hear much about over here. So I'm actually going to reach out to a fellow Briton. Was a Britainer? A fellow New Englander. No. A fellow... What do you say? What are English? I don't know what you call. What's the short for English? People from England. So, but I'm gonna reach out to someone and get him on so he can give us more in depth into it. So, be on the lookout for that. I might try to reach out to him tonight for tomorrow. It says Trump allowed for the people to short the stock. So before he decided to ground all the planes, Tony, you saying he gave a little small window of time before he decided to exit out. So I'm trying to open up my, as always, I should come prepared, but I'm trying to open up my communication devices so I can get some calls in here. So hopefully something will open up pretty soon. But in the meantime, we'll keep it going. So Spirit King says, a Boeing executive is working at the Department of Defense. I wonder why the response wasn't swifter. Yeah, I heard about that as well. A former Boeing executive that's in the Department of Defense or somewhere higher up, to where, you know, clearly there should have been a much faster response. And so we claim to be the leaders of the free world, and we're supposed to be exceptional and all this stuff that we paint ourselves as being as a nation. Why were we the last ones to do it? Apart from the fact it's the U.S. Dominant company so far. It says Thursday. What does that mean? It says the rich paying for people to take tests for their kids. Rich people paying for tests for people to get. Oh, really? Okay, Ty, shoot me an article on that. I'm not even familiar with that at all, but I'll be curious to find that out. And then speaking of which, I might as well go ahead and try to pull this up real quick, because I was watching another alternative media gentleman, and he was talking about 5G, and he highlighted a couple articles. So I'm gonna see if I can pull them up. Let me see if I can find it. But this is definitely a subject that, once again, I really don't dive into, but being a parent, it definitely caught my eye. Let me try to find it. Because if this is the truth, which I have no reason to deny that it's not, let me see if I can find it real quick. But it's an interesting, man, I'm gonna have to find it another time. Should have came prepared. But anyway, so as always, let me try to get my phone lines open. I don't like how it's not responding. One of them things where you're supposed to just click the button and it opens up, but it doesn't seem to be working. So let me try to download it again, and then we can get a little further in this chat this evening. But as always, talk amongst yourselves if you like. It says open microphone. No, I don't want to open that. Yeah, may not be working. So unfortunately, let me try to do it from my phone. What a pain. What a pain. But anyway, let's keep it moving. And I'll try to work it out before we get off here tonight. It says, May said the rich pay for the picture. Englishmen. Okay. Man, that's a good one. You saved me there. I appreciate that. It says, no, phone lines aren't dropping. Oh, phone lines are dropping? Okay. And so I improved my service, what I thought. I'm trying to use Skype, and it was working well until right now. For whatever reason, the app won't open. But I wondered, right now, if you guys, I'm sure you have noticed, what's up with Facebook and Instagram. They're both having some issues in and of themselves. And so I wonder what's going on there. Anybody got any thoughts on that one? Feel free to let me know. Because, of course, everybody recognized that when they go to check their social media feeds, if something's not working right, then there's an issue. Let me get back here. Let me try to open this up again. So yeah, so I switched to Skype and it was working fine until right now. And so typically you just open up the app and voila. But for whatever reason tonight, it doesn't seem to be cooperating in that fashion. So bear with me. But definitely, once I get this up and running, we can continue on without any interruptions, hopefully. Because I definitely want to have the call-in portion. It says, blunt news. It says, blunt news is the way that always happen. A poor guy that can't pay the housing, doesn't go to university, and the student debt can't be reset even on bankruptcy. Yeah, the fact that you know, one of the debts are amongst many, taxes and student debt. And I'm sure there's a couple other taxes you can't get away from. But yeah, majority of the population that takes out debt are low-income individuals. And they end up getting strapped, getting saddled with debt. And then nowadays, what's even worse about going into debt for student loans or whatnot is you're not even guaranteed to get out of school and be able to get a job to be able to pay that debt back off. So that's even more of a tragedy. So let me try to download it again. No, I don't want to do that. I just want to open it. Just want to download it one time. I don't want that. Oh my goodness. What a pain. What a pain. But bear with me. There's not much of a talk show. If you don't have run as administrator. If you don't have, let me try to download it again, see what happens. Tag says try logging out of Skype, might then logging back in. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do, and so typically I just click on the Skype icon, it opens up, but for whatever reason, the icon as of right now doesn't seem to be working, and so nothing's happening. And so I can try to go, it says go to your Microsoft store to download it, but I already have it here. So let's go on this app, install, try to install it and see what it does. Just a moment. So it looks like it might be opening up. Let me try this and see what happens. Yeah, bear with me 1 second. All right, let me get back to the chat. And while this loads up, I'll try to go back and forth. We got everything going, but high speed. We got colleges are Microsoft accounted a problem. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, man. So I'm being asked for all types of extra stuff that I have no interest in signing up for. I just want my Skype open. All right, well, looks like due to the update to my computer, Skype is not working. So no call-in portion tonight, but we keep it moving. It says, Mike, between when is the next free crypto giveaway? Can't wait for it. Spirit Key. Yeah, I got to be careful of those giveaways, especially we have people out there that can work the system. So I may not be doing that type of giveaway no time soon. But who knows? Oh, man. It says, what else here? Hey, Nick. Yeah, man. So what else is going on? College scandal. Completely close out of Skype and then put your password back in. Yeah, I'm not even able to open Skype right now. For whatever reason, it's not even opening. So I'm not even sure what's going on with Skype. But it does bother me. It does bother me because it's right here in front of me. The button's here, but yeah, apparently there's nothing on it. So that's what I'll do. As someone recommended, I'll use Skype on my phone. Check it out. pin to start launch. So apparently Skype just got installed. So I'll either do it from a phone or from the computer, either one, whichever one comes on first. Hopefully, this is what happens when you're rushing, trying to go live and not being prepared. Open, let's see how this works here. So I'll try it from a phone this evening because it seems to be opening first. And we go from there. Continue. So it looks like my Skype is open now. So phone lines should be good. So we should be good to go. Now let's test it. Let me have somebody give me a call and ask a question so I can make sure everything is good. Because it's one thing to say it's open, but until I get a call, I'll have to wait and see. So anybody out there want to give me a call, try that number, 1313-462-0027. Hopefully we should be good and we keep this thing flowing. I didn't anticipate having these difficulties. These microphone, camera, speakers, learn more. Oh, no, now it's talking about how to connect my speakers. And man, what a pain. Audio. Yeah. Let's see. So we have somebody calling. Let's see if we can hear. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? So I got to set the speaker system up. No device about fixing this issue. No device found. Hello? Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Well, once again, yeah, this is not flowing smoothly, but might have to just keep moving. What's wrong with Facebook? That's a great question. I'm wondering, does anyone have any information on that? Apart from, I saw something on Twitter earlier today referring to an outage, like I want to say in Europe or something like that, but I didn't know it was coming this way. So perhaps, something's going on that we will find out about sooner or later. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? All right. So it looks like Skype is open. Now I have to get it set up to where I can receive some calls or whatnot. So, but what's interesting as I look at general, so as I look at my features here, I'm not able to select a microphone or audio. So I'm gonna try to, might have to use it from a phone. Algorithms are changing. So someone says ringing, but then again, when it's ringing, it's not giving me a chance to answer as if the volume or whatever is not working. So I'm gonna try to switch it up to my phone and hopefully get something better there. So as always, we might be on a little longer tonight. If you guys want to hang around with me, appreciate your patience. Let's see if we can try something. So someone's, let me see, continue, deny that. Okay. Continue, almost there. Allow. All right, so I'm gonna use my phone this evening. So give me a call and let's see if I can answer it from a phone and we'll go from there. But other than that, if it doesn't work, I did the best I can for this evening. I'll make sure it's good for tomorrow. Skype spy book. Called twice, rings too many, then disconnects. So let's see if it works. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Typo. Mike, you got it to work. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you. I had to go to my phone instead. So how you doing this evening? What's on your mind tonight?
You know, there is so much happening. I don't know. You guys, the chat log has great topics. Everyone is bringing up fabulous stuff. So I hear that Venezuela, what are we on, day 5? And I'm hearing that people have gone to the streets, but that they're not getting help, and it's really getting bad there. So I was just wondering if we had anybody that could give us the inside scoop on the call.
That's a great question there. And actually, so I follow a couple of YouTubers that happen to be Venezuelan or down in that area. And so I actually watched the video today, of which her name is, the young lady's name, her name is Casey. And so she actually put a video up yesterday that has about almost 100,000 views. But from what she highlighted, she herself doesn't have any power or no water. So she actually was on the street with her cell phone recording. And she showed people like literally like down in ditches, you know, taking baths and showers and stuff like that. And then she showed that there was trucks going throughout the city with big water hoses, giving people water. And one of the clips showed some people were rioting and looting. So the police were shooting. And a lady was yelling out, "Don't shoot the kids!" And so it's from what I saw from that quick clip there, it's very chaotic in certain areas. I'm sure. So definitely, it's a real situation down there, I imagine.
Wow, thank you so much for the update. Always people first, but now I have a concept. I'm interested in getting your feedback. I was going to write you yesterday, because I was wondering what you might think about that.
All right, go ahead.
When it comes to the Fiat falling and the banks falling, we talk amongst ourselves, and we strongly encourage to get out of all debt. Get out of your mortgage. Get out of all debt.
Yeah.
Right? Pay it off.
Yep.
But here's the question. My question is, governments are raising their debt. They're spending like a banshee. Limited liability corporations are spending like banshees. So does that mean that they will all go broke with limited liability, fold up, not lose a thing? And is that one of the things that smart people do and we just don't know about it? That's the question.
Okay. Great question there. And the first thing that came to my mind is everyone you mentioned, whether it be governments or corporations, they all, or the government is the leading authority or whatever of our country. So they're not going to go anywhere. They can just simply pass some laws and just put themselves back into business, and they can pay themselves or whatever they want to do and be fine. Corporations, on the other hand,
part of the cartel.
Right. I'm sorry.
They're part of the cartel. Yeah.
Right. And so for corporations especially, most of them tend to own land or some type of product or service. So they can probably somehow, I'm not sure how it would work, but they can actually close their doors because of whatever, default on their loans. But then because apart from them losing their tangible property and rights of whatever they're selling or whatever, they can probably open back up and come to some type of agreement on how to repay back their debt. But because they actually have land and actual manufactured goods and services, they're going to be good because they have what we need in their possession. They actually own all the things that come from the earth that they craft and sell to us. So they will end up being good. So at the end of the day, the people who don't have anything tangible or own land or anything that's of true value will be the ones that suffer the most, I believe.
Okay, so last thing I want to mention is, oh, sorry, hold on. I didn't want to reverb. So last thing would be, I'm not a person who would do it, but could you do a limited liability small corporation, transfer the money, buy land, and then make it a sustainable community for when it falls apart? Just a thought.
I don't know the details of how that all would operate, so I wouldn't be able to share a valuable opinion on that. But if anyone happened to hear that question and have an answer for you, I'm sure they'll let us know in the chat. But I don't want to speak on something I'm not too familiar with, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But hopefully we get an answer in the chat or something like that.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling in.
That's excellent. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Yeah, bye-bye. Yeah, man. Good stuff as always. Appreciate you calling in. And so we have a phone line open. Using my phone tonight. So What else we got going on here? So we got a YouTube video here, but due to the idea of not wanting to get any type of copyright strikes or anything like that, I won't play it. But I'll highlight it so people can go check it out from Blunt News if you guys want to. What else we got here? It's sometimes when a big event is about to happen, the government will try and shut down all social media to cover it up. Nick Connor, I do agree that that is currently what's going on. We've already seen how, I think it was who was that watching the SGT report, and Sean was talking about how the algorithms and whatnot are kind of being programmed to favor fake news or news that has an agenda. And he was talking about vaccines and things of that nature. But there's an article that I wanted to find, and perhaps if I can find it now, but it's very disturbing. And so I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. But it has to do with a cell phone tower. It's a cell phone tower at an elementary school, of which so far there's been 4 kids that have been found to have cancer. And the parents and everybody, of course, is just unbelievably angry and everything else, but yet the school is still not moving the tower, and even some doctors or whatnot mentioned that that it's from something in the air. It's an airborne type of tumor or something like that. So if I can find this article, I would love to get your guys' thoughts on it. Cell phone near school causes, let me see, causes cancer, and see what pops up. But definitely a real topic. Let me see if I can pop it up in the news. Parents blame. Yeah, here we go. So let me try to find this, and I'll let you guys see exactly what I'm talking about. And so I'll put this up on the screen. And so here it says, well, this is not the actual article, because they're starting off with a question, but the actual article that I was looking for mentioned that it was a no-brainer that these cell towers near school cause cancer. And so it says parents think so. So this isn't the article I was referring to, because the article I was referring to said that cell phone tower was linked to cancer. So, but with that being the case, anyway, you guys got the subject matter. What are your thoughts on that? And is that a major concern should it be a major concern for everyone, not just children? Because there's this speed up, there's this ramp to put 5G out there first because of the whole situation with China and all that other stuff behind that. But I'm curious to find out what you guys think about that. Let me know. Let me see. You got an article here. All right, so here we go. Here's the article right here. So let me make sure. Okay, so it says parents blame school cell tower after 4th, not the 1st, but the 4th. And so here's a question. And so this is a question for all my parents out there. I'm not sure how many people are tuning in, but if this was at your local school, give or take, and you were not one of the 4, would you pull your son or daughter or your children or how many ever out of that school immediately, or would you hit the streets and protest, or how would you handle that situation? I'm curious to find out. Anybody feel like sharing their thoughts? It says cell towers should be a major concern. Yes, 5G equals depopulation. Yeah, and the thing is, what disappoints me most, as J to the K mentioned about 5G being for depopulation, is that there hasn't really, from what I've gathered, there hasn't been any true studies that would lead us to believe that it's going to be safe for, for humans in general. Nevertheless, the kids, animals, plant life. So it's very, 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 this is a very alarming situation that we are going to be confronted with one way or another, because I'm sure we probably already got some 5G towers up in our area or whatnot. And once again, we're the guinea pigs for an experimental test that we don't know we don't know how in the long run it's going to play out, apart from injuring us and hurting us. So Omnibone says, Cliff High predicts that 5G will be superseded by new tech, but not without casualties from the 5G and major disability disturbances. Ah, man. Ah, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, we don't know what it's going to, The side effects clearly will not be in our favor. It says it is the school or the city that gave the telecom company the land to build the tower. Darnell, good point. I don't know. What I gather from what I heard about this report, that the school gets some type of monthly subsidy or payout or something like that, because if you actually watch this video, from what I gather, the cell tower is like right in the middle of like the school grounds, and so it's not like it's behind the building, or it looks like it's right there where everybody is forced to play under it or something like that all the time. So it's not like it's even off in the woods or hidden behind the building. It's dead smack in the middle of everything. So that's very disturbing. But said hypothetically correct, says pull them babies out. Face said I will pull them out. He said throw rocks at the tower. I will pull my son out right away. I own several, yes. YouTube, it says 5G Trump's New World Order. Is 5G Trump's New World Order? Donald, yeah, with the fact that he's pumping it up and pulling for 5G at a faster rate than all our allies and enemies. And then that 5G factors into the whole Huawei, whatever it's called, electrical company. Apparently Huawei is the leading technology leader in 5G technology. So that's why I'm assuming they have one of the executives locked up in Canada. And then they have all this ban Huawei from using their, is it Huawei? Yeah, I think it's Huawei, if I'm saying it correctly. But so looks like there's a telecommunications warfare going on between not only China and all their partners or whatnot, but we're causing, like we told Australia to ban them. And yeah, if Germany, and so just recently, if you guys don't know, if we gave a mandate to Germany to say if you don't either ban or completely do nothing with that company, we will definitely sanction you or something like that. There's going to be some consequences, basically, if you don't jump on the bandwagon and ban using their technology and their gadgets or whatever. So we're pushing a lot of buttons around this world, man. It's not going to be. And so all this stuff, all this governmental bullying, but what it boils down to, puts the U.S. citizens, more in particular, in a very bad position, because we are forcing our will upon every and anybody to obey their commands or our commands here, and they're forced to basically move away from us. They're forced to do less business with us. They're forced to come up with their own innovative things to bypass the dollar. So, we're speeding up the race to get rid of the dollar. That's what bothers me. And so Nano Joe says towers can't be within 100 feet of residential buildings per many city codes. They doing it anyway. Yeah. And so the link to this video, it's in the chat. And so definitely I would encourage you guys to check it out, because I think it's in this video where that tower is definitely not 100 feet away, I don't think. Because one of the parents mentioned that their child walked by it every day. And we know what happened with that particular child. So it says fair and equal distribution of radiation. Fair and equal exposure at least. It says Cliff High told Sarah Westgard 5G is going to fail miserably. Joe, I saw a little bit of that article, or the interview rather, and I hope that is the case. Trump, because here's my thing. 5G is being pushed for the Internet of Things, where it will connect all gadgets together. So we're being pushed to this smart utopia of a grand society where everything is connected. Everything we wear will have a chip in it that can tell our body temperature and tell if we're in good health or bad health. And that's a little bit too much for me, man. Like I'm satisfied with 4G LTE for now. That's fine with me. I don't need no 5G personally. And here's another question for you guys. And this is a real question, because this is something that we're going to be confronted with whether we want to or not. But as the 5G is rolled out, there's going to be more of a push to make your home smarter, as well as all your daily life gadgets and whatnot. Will you buy into that? Will you get a smart refrigerator, all that stuff? Let me know in the chat. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mike, it's Casey again from the Dallas area.
Casey from Dallas area. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight? Hello? Looks like I lost you. Give me a call back and I'll get you on here, my friend. And so, question. Will you jump on the smart bandwagon? I'm curious to find out. Hello?
Hey, Mike, sorry about that. My call just dropped.
Not a problem. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
I was wondering, do you know anything about Anatoly Glitsin and the fake fall of communism?
Say it one more time. Who's that?
In the 1960s, a KGB agent, he fled the Soviet Union, became the United States, and he defected. And he claimed that the Russian or the Soviet government concluded that it could not compete with America economically and politically and militarily. So they wanted
you lost you there for a second. You still there? So it looks like I may have lost you. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep. You lost you for a second, but you're good. What was that? You say KGB or a Russian citizen came here and then mentioned that they couldn't, or Russia couldn't do what now again?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My phone keeps on disconnecting.
It's all good. Go ahead.
But the Soviets concluded that they could not compete with the United States politically, economically, and militarily. So they wanted to do a controlled collapse of the Soviet Union because they knew a collapse was inevitable. And while they did do a controlled collapse of the Soviet Union, they would America would have its guard down, and then they would change America culturally, and like what Nikita Khrushchev said, we're not gonna force communism on America. You're gonna accept communism one piece at a time. So, anyways, do you see what is your mind on socialism and communism?
I think that appears to be the trend of where we're heading, and I don't think it's by coincidence. So the whole scenario you just gave me, I think I've heard something. I think I've heard about that, not in great detail like that, but I'm not surprised that we're approaching that point now where they're able to throw out things such as a new Green Deal and all the MMT. So they're throwing out all these ideas as if they're new. They're just repackaging them, and they all lead to more government control, less human rights, and more less freedom. So that right there lines up directly with what you're painting a picture to where it wouldn't come all of a sudden. It'll be gradual. And as our government has grown, the people have lost more and more of their freedoms and not even fighting to get it back. And so it looks like the greatest catalyst that will lead to a pure socialist, communist type of environment where we can have a political figure get up there and say that we will provide for you solely, we will, and we give you this, we give you that. It could come after this next Great Recession, Great Depression, Great Reset, or whatever is coming. So it seems to be very timely that we're heading that way to where it's simply just less freedom and more a dictatorship type of ordeal from our political figures. So I think it's inevitable because that's where it seems like it's going to me. What do you think?
Yeah. I listened to Chris Dewane's channel, The Truth Ever Told, and he talks about how Trump was the whole reason why he was put in office was, because like the Bible says, we're in a spiritual war. We're in we fight principalities and wickedness in high places. And what they want to do is I guess you'd say, destroy the image of capitalism. They have this billionaire and successful billionaire and trying to bring back America through deregulation and lower taxes, and they want to crash, the dollar, and they want to crash the economy on Trump's watch.
Yeah,
that way they can usher in socialism, kind of like how they did with FDR. They had whoever was a successful businessman, and his capitalist policies, his right-wing policies, supposedly led to the Great Depression, and only socialism can fix it. And I think that's what they want to do with it's how they're going to merge the one world government.
Yeah. And so speaking of which, you're giving a historical information there. Isn't it interesting how, as we are approaching, I heard it's 3 months away from being the longest economic expansion or boom cycle ever. and it so happens to be at a time frame where when it comes to an end, we already got something that they're considering called the Green New Deal to be the savior or some type of policy that's going to help out. So it's not by coincidence. It's all this is design, man. And so, yeah, it's good to be able to read into it a little bit, don't you think?
Yes. I know what's really interesting is the Skull and Bones 322, March 22nd is just a couple of days away, and they've done things on 322 before, so I think they're trying to manufacture a political image for socialism, for progressivism, and Oscar, what's her name, Alexander Cortez, whatever, whatever her name is.
AOC.
Her new deal is supposed to cost $6 trillion a year, supposedly, and I don't even know what she wants to do. She wants to change all the buildings,
give people housing. So it's so much stuff in there. Like I heard about give housing and so many things that have nothing to do with the overall economy. It's more so for people directly. So a lot of hand-me-down and handout type of things is being forced through there. But that's where it's headed, man. But hey, man, I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts as always, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night. Yeah, man. Good stuff as always. Stop asking me that question. I hate that on my phone. Anyway, I'm sorry. So, what's going on in the chat? What I missed over here? I see something about cryptos and privacy and stuff like that. It says, Brandy Monica says, what's up, everybody? Good evening, Big Mike. What's the main topic tonight? So, we started off, and so I was talking about the Boeing 737 situation, how I've gathered information from other alternative media sources that it was AI versus manpower. Something about the algorithm or whatever was tilt the nose down, but yet the pilot was trying to pull up, and so issues with that. So looks like in those two cases there, the artificial intelligence won out, and lives were lost, unfortunately. So, but the fact that all the Boeing 737 whatevers are grounded till things are fixed, I mean, I wonder how will that impact, because I'm not familiar with the type of planes people fly on in general. Are those just international flight planes, or are those just domestic flight planes, or what? So I'm curious to see how that's going to interrupt the people's plans with travel, especially we got springtime coming up. So if those planes are still on the ground, it's going to be some traveling issues as well. But rather be safe than sorry, for sure. It says, what else we got here? Wireless frequency, no problem. It says, faith of their dictator will most likely be the Antichrist. Yeah, that's coming. That's coming. By the time 2020 comes, we will have a 6T budget, $6 trillion budget. 2025 come, yeah, that's the thing. Like, what is a budget? Like, as I mentioned last night, just get away from, using the word debt ceiling, where you're going to continue to raise it. It's no ceiling, and there's no budget, because you're not really budgeting everything. When you have the current reserve currency that's on its last leg, for the most part, you can use any term you want, because apart from governments already and nations already doing what they're doing behind the scenes as far as accumulating large amounts of gold and coming up with their own payment vehicles or whatnot, you can basically say, you can just come out basically and say whatever you want. It's not going to affect anything directly, because people are still going to want to use the dollars as long as they are able to be spent for something. So, hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. This is Keith from Chicago. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent, Keith. How you doing? What's on your mind tonight?
Man, I'm, just chilling out, maxing out.
I bet. I imagine you got some good stuff to talk about tonight. So what you got? What homework you done today?
All right. So what I want to talk about actually is I will tie this in with the 5G technology, 3G, LTE, WiMAX, and I'm going to talk a little and Tesla. But before I do that, I just want to say that there actually was another plane flying from Seattle. I think this was I can't remember the exact plane number this was for Boeing, but it wasn't the 737. It was flying from Seattle to China. They had to turn around and land back in Seattle. Now, this wasn't a 737, so this is where I will say I have to disagree, where, this is a software problem, like they've always been talking about. Tesla says the same thing, it's a software problem, when actually it's not. These things are actually being hacked. They're, the Chinese have the ability, the Russians have the ability to do this.
Mm-hmm. And that's so watch this.
Go ahead.
So with that being the case, I don't doubt that those nations you referred to have the capability, but I imagine if you got somebody on the east side of Detroit that know tech, they probably can also get into that thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like the fact that people pinpoint China and Russia as the end of be all enemies, even though they're not our friends, but yet I believe there's other nations that can be involved just as easily as they are, if that is the case. So go ahead.
No, Mike, I'm gonna have to disagree because a person, even on my level, man, I don't have the capability right now to be able to hack inside of a plane. This is more than just a laptop. You're talking about nation states that have resources to actually be able to do this.
Yeah.
Large antennas, you're talking about ground-based satellite systems here that'll be able to, hack these things. So it's not as easy as we make it sound to be.
Okay, so so I hate to say, because you mentioned that it's above your pay grade. It says, so have you tried? So you haven't tried, have you?
Man, look,
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Not since I stopped working for the man.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought, man.
All right, man. So what I want to talk about really is, really Tesla. Mm-hmm. Because, Tesla, they market their, this autopilot feature, right? Mm-hmm. They say they have this autopilot feature that they're able, to be able to sense around and, be able to move around in real time and be able to, self-driving.
Yeah.
But that's not the truth, because how is the vehicle able to do this? It must have adequate, or it must have continuous internet connection. Mm-hmm. And the only way that's able to happen is if it's connecting to a cell phone network. Mm-hmm. So I think for people have to understand that there's only so many VLRs, EIRs, BTS stations, cell phone towers. Mm-hmm. There's only so many of these. I can go on and on about, OMCs, AUCs, PST, and ISD. There's only so many of these things that you can build in a specific area. Mm-hmm. And you're talking about, Tesla. It's not possible. Oh gosh, I can continue going on, but I don't want to.
Now watch this. So all those the different types of satellite signals or towers you're referring to, how about just a good old fashioned satellite in the sky, way up in space that can be connected to, and because the GPS I'm assuming uses the boys in the sky anyway. So could Tesla possibly be ran from that to be its eyes and ears?
If you're talking about beaming information down, so you have to understand how even networks or data is switched. Mm-hmm. So even if you're talking about a satellite that's up in space, it has to come down to a ground-based system, a ground-based satellite. Then the data must be translated into a different signal. It must be routed through the internet again, and then it has to take a transatlantic hop. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about a specific amount of time. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about a lot of time delay it takes in order to do that. So it's not possible. Mm-hmm. Like it is fraudulent. Mm-hmm. Tesla is lying. The NTSB knows this. This is why, and the SEC knows this. This is why Tesla is under investigation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now watch this. So far, I haven't heard. I'm sure you probably have, but yet I've seen a lot of people testing out that driveless feature. And so somebody actually not long ago posted a video of a guy driving it, and he was asleep. Or not asleep, but he had his eyes closed, laying back in the car, and I think it went viral. And then the guy actually found it and replied to that person who put it out there saying, "Hey, I wasn't asleep. I just had my eyes closed. Mind your own business," or something like that. But so has there been a lot of accidents, and has that feature failed a lot of times? It's just not being reported, you think, or what?
How about this? There was a Tesla vehicle that crashed in China. Mm-hmm. It was on autopilot, and it ran right into the river.
Okay. And so I wonder, so that person didn't have the ability to see a river, or it was a swerve situation, or what? Was there any type of maneuver that could have been made on behalf of a person last minute, or what? Or did it drive itself into the water?
It drove itself into the water. And this is because the autopilot feature is not able to adequately respond to changes inside the environment. Mm-hmm. So it relies on Google Maps. So if Google Maps is not, or if, let's say like, okay, if there's no change in the road, if there, if Google Maps says, okay, you go here, right, and there's no change in it, then the Tesla autopilot feature would have no problem. But throw a detour in there, throw some road work in there, and then it won't work. It can't work.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have the ability to think like that. It's not, it's relying on data and input feeds and multiple things from either Google Maps or multiple data source feeds.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I've had situations where the map didn't show me a dead end ahead, and I'm wondering, like, damn, didn't you know that? Or, so it had me waste time. So I imagine that's not something you want to happen when you're driving a car and you're supposed to be trusting this vehicle is on the right pathway and it's taking you off a damn cliff somewhere. So, hey, man, as always, man, you put me on game. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for calling in, as always.
All right, man. Thanks. Take it easy, boss.
Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, man. That's good stuff, man. I like him, man. He's very tech savvy with his. I like that. As always, we're still talking. Got a couple more minutes on here. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with me tonight. And so, as always, what's on your mind? Feel free to call in. A couple more minutes with the phone lines open. I've missed a lot of back and forth in the chat. So I assume there was probably no questions or no thoughts you guys want me to talk about because I don't see my name highlighted. So here's another thing. Apart from like super chats where I'll be able to see it directly, tag me or at Rethinking the Dollar so it at least light up on my side so I know it's intended for me to answer, because I noticed a lot of people mention I don't get to their comments, but I don't see it. So feel free to do so. And so what else we got here? It says, yeah, man. So software issue, EMP, software, not a signal. So this is one of my all-time favorite callers. He is so knowledgeable and yes, has many interesting things to say. Kudos, bro. Yeah, definitely, man. It's always good to learn something. He's a very tech-savvy young man. Appreciate you for calling in, man. AI is just what it means. Artificial intelligence. Artificial. It's not real. But here's another thing that we're going to be faced with is machine learning. Whatever that version of AI or that whole sector, machines that can learn. And so I've watched a lot of stuff on YouTube about different projects and different situations where the machines picked up a lot faster than the creators and the designers thought, and they end up figuring out some things that who said they when they are created to learn, then what's the boundary? Well, I mean, what's something that they should not be learning if they have the freedom to learn and solve problems and think for themselves. Man, yeah. So machine learning and that type of stuff is definitely not something that's going to be in our favor down the line. Caller can do a search, American Intelligence Media Plane Software. So definitely that's something to check into. Yeah, man. Got another call. Let's see what's going on. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello.
Uh-oh. I lost you. Give me a call back. I'll get you on here. It says, man, people are dumb to trust autonomous vehicles. Google Maps are terrible for being inaccurate. Very true. Very true. Hello. Hi. Hello, caller. How you doing? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Mike. This is Spirit King.
Hey, Spirit. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight or this early morning for you?
It's actually 2 a.m.
2 a.m. And I appreciate you joining us at 2 a.m. in the morning, your time. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I have to disagree a little bit with the previous caller.
Okay.
About some things, like hacking the airplanes. It would be not easy, as you stated correctly, but it's not that hard either, okay? People tend to forget that the most successful way to infiltrate and hack those systems ends up being what they call social engineering, which is actually just convincing people to give them sensitive information like a password or a model of some box that does a transmission, and that's how sometimes it's a lot easier. And as an example, a few years ago, some researchers decided to test how easy it would be to access information in a company. So what they did was they bought some USB pens, like those sticks, and they put some virus on it, and they just left the sticks on the parking spots of a particular company.
Yeah.
And what they found was there are people that are stupid enough to pick it up. Sometimes they have the tags to make it look like it belongs to someone in the company, and they would stick it on their computers. That's how easy it ends up being hacking someone. Another example, just quickly, is hackers putting Raspberry Pi with a battery. They put it on the package. They go on Facebook and find someone at a company that's on vacation. They send a package to that person, and the package will sit on that person's desk for days, weeks, whatever. And inside that, the Raspberry Pi is transmitting the Wi-Fi signal to the hacker. So it's sometimes easier to attack those systems, like the airplanes, in indirect ways. And in this case, the 737 airplane, what they failed in the Asian crash was the sensor was actually unclean. So the sensor could not see certain parts, and the software attempted to autocorrect the altitude, as you explained. So the sensor was giving the impression that the airplane was going up. The software at the action is forcing it down. And that's a problem. But that's not AI. That's simple robot machining. So do not think that airplanes are AI, okay? And that's the second part of what I wanted to tell you. And disagree a little bit because you were talking about AI and then machine learning. But in today's context, they are used as the same concept, you know? When they talk about Siri is an AI, they are actually not. That's my point, okay?
So you say so like the Alexis and the Siri. Hello, looks like I lost them. Yeah, so that's interesting there. Software situation for the airplanes. Appreciate your spirit for calling in, my friend. What else we got going on here? Says low blood pressure just got here. As right when we come into an end. Typo, I want to acknowledge you for that gift offering. Appreciate you for doing that as always. Thank you for supporting the channel. And so what else? So yeah, so we've been about 55 or 57 minutes or so, looks like. And as always, it's been great to hang out with everybody this evening. I apologize for those technical difficulties earlier on. And so, yes, the Spirit said the car dropped. I apologize for that. It wasn't on my end. But as always, people, we're up on our hour point. So it's been great hanging out this evening. Definitely tomorrow night, I'll be more prepared and having my Skype up and open so that we can get to calls right away. So I apologize for the inconvenience earlier. But as always, it's great to have you guys hang out with me this evening. And definitely for all those that called in and shared your thoughts, thank you as always. More importantly, if you guys are interested, feel free to take advantage of some of the resources down here and over here. And if you want to support your boy on Patreon, feel free to do so. I love your support. Other than that, be back here tomorrow night. Got a nice interview coming up this week that you guys will definitely enjoy. It's a gentleman that's right next door to Venezuela. And so he's a traveler, so he knows his stuff. So you guys definitely will be informed and educated when he's on here. So other than that, be safe, be blessed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.